Hey, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Ray here with Horticulture Geek. I'm glad you're joining me today. And as you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about death in the garden. So, how is everybody doing? I'm glad you're here. Death in the garden. What does that mean? Well, sometimes things in the garden die. And it doesn't matter how experienced of a gardener you are, how dedicated of a gardener you are, sometimes things just happen. I have a horticulture degree. I work in the garden a lot. I try to be diligent with my stuff. Life gets busy sometimes. In the case of the death I'm about to show you, I'm just keeping it honest and real here. I had a few weeks there with a lot on my plate, and it was just easy to become a lazy gardener, and I kind of forgot about some stuff, and we're going to show it to you. So let's go look at what's died. All right, so right here is my indoor seed starting area. This is where once my seedlings got bigger, some of you who are familiar with the channel and have watched the video, I potted up my seedlings into these bigger trays, and I kind of forgot about them for a few days, and some fungus got on them, and here they are. So we're just keeping it real and honest with everybody today. It happens, and it's okay. So I've got a few things. I mean, there's still some good stuff hanging on, but you know, there's death, almost dead. These back here did really bad. Luckily, these were just flowers that were supposed to be rudbeckias, but none of them turned out to grow rudbeckias. They turned out to be a wildflower mixed in a package labeled rudbeckia, which is frustrating, but that's okay. So I wasn't too concerned that any of that stuff died. But some of my peppers are still looking good. My tomatoes had the worst hit. But it's okay. It happens. This poor guy right here just absolutely bit the dust. He is done back there. What else? Here are my succulents and cactuses that I got on the clearance rack. Now, I knew going into this that this was going to be a long shot, because they were on the clearance rack, and they were on the clearance rack for a reason. It's because Lowe's didn't take care of them. They let them get bad, and I was trying my best to nurse them back to health. And I've done a fairly good job of nursing a lot of these back to health. But as you can see, we've had some casualties. This guy has completely, he's gone on to the great garden in the sky. He's out of here. This guy has given up the ghost as well, so he's done. There's just a few leaves. Now, succulent leaves, you know, will remain good looking like that for a while, but the plant is gone. And there's just a few other problems going on in here. Here's a guy that's out. So I've got to just, I'm gonna have to come in here and clean this up. And now succulents will, like when you see here, this is just dead leaves. So succulents do dry up leaves, and the dried leaves will, so you've got to clean these out. So before I plant these, and I'll be planting them in this, but I'm waiting on a few more to arrive in the mail. But all of these will get cleaned up, dead ones will get removed, and then these will be looking better for the most part. What else? Now these next few things I'm gonna show you didn't die, thank goodness. But I forgot about them on a cold night, and they got beat up pretty good. So one of them is this right here. This is a petunia. It's a Super Bells petunia. And I overwintered this thing in the garage all winter long. It stayed under a light in the garage. It was beautiful. And I brought it out here on a nice warm sunny day to let it flourish. And I forgot it. And it got cold that night. And it stayed out the next day because I forgot about it. I forgot it was out here, and it was cold that whole next day. And so it's got some severe cold burn on it. The inside of it is looking pretty scraggly, as you can tell, but it's not dead. So again, I'm thankful that it hasn't died completely yet. I can save him. We can nurse him back to health. And then I'll have that guy. And the last two down here, same scenario. Forgot that they were out here. Forgot to bring them in on a cold night. And they got a little cold burn on them. It happens. These are my new blueberry plants. I don't even think I showed this in a video. But I got a couple of blueberry plants and potted them up. So they're doing great. Luckily, they're just fresh baby plants. So while some of the leaves did get some cold burn, I think they're going to be okay. We're still crossing our fingers on these guys. I'm not sure if they're going to make it or not, but I'll flip the camera around and let you see. So here they are. And there's still some good looking green in there. And the stems still seem, a couple of these stems still seem viable. A couple of the stems are toast. So I'm hoping they will flourish back out. So as you can see, it happens. It's okay. I'm not trying to worry too much about it. I'm a little disappointed over some of those tomatoes, but I can get new ones. I can grow some more. As a matter of fact, with death comes life. So I am going to be working on starting some new seeds this evening. And I may go and buy some tomato plants at the store. But with death comes life, and so there is some fresh life around the garden. And so for the last part of this video, I'm just going to walk you around and show you kind of what the garden's looking like right now, give us a starting reference point for the season. And then when we do our garden tours from here on out, it'll just be growth and change from there. So let me flip the camera around, and sorry, it's a busy time of day. There's lots of traffic out on the street, so you may hear that road noise, even though we're in the backyard. But let me flip this camera around and we'll start looking at some stuff. So here's our pot of strawberries. They're flowering, they're flushing out, looking really good. We've got some tulips in bloom right here. Here's our asparagus. It's coming out, looking really good. This is the third year in this spot for this plant. So hopefully we will get some good asparagus off of that this year. Daylily, Brussels sprouts, they're starting to shoot up. I'm not sure how these Brussels sprouts will do. They are starting to form the Brussels sprout heads, but they're also going to flower. So I think we may have missed the window on these, unfortunately, which I'm very disappointed in. Arkansas is so weird with our crazy temperatures and freezing cold days and then absolutely hot sweltering days the next, and things go to flower, and it just is what it is. But I'm hoping that these Brussels sprout heads will still continue to form up for me. We've got some purple cabbages left from this winter. We've got our new spring cabbages in here. We've got some lettuces in here. And we've got spinach growing up. So if you can see spinach leaf, spinach leaf, spinach leaf. Spinach, I've got spinach kind of interplanted in there. More daylilies, lamb's ear, lemon thyme is starting to flush out. I've got my rosemary pruned back. It's starting to flush back out. This is a butterfly bush, and look at this glorious drift of daffodils. How pretty are these? They're the smaller miniature bloomed daffodils. Oh my word, aren't they beautiful? I love them. I put a big drift of them right here under this red Japanese maple tree. So we've got all sorts of stuff starting to flush out and get green. It's looking really pretty. So there's still life. There's still life in the garden. And I just realized this is a clematis. So I forgot to say that is a clematis that's already starting to grow up the trellis right there. The pool is still covered. The pool will get uncovered here in the next week or so. We'll start cleaning the water up, but for right now, it's still the big, green, yucky blob in the middle of the garden. It is what it is. I moved up top here so we can see some stuff up here. So, more lamb's ear, more daffodils, blanket flowers are coming up everywhere. The sweet autumn clematis is already going crazy, growing. Got that growing down there. Carolina jasmine. This pot of pansies are looking stunning still. Here's a rudbeckia coming in nice and strong. And just some random stuff in the garden. These are spring onions that I planted, so they're getting nice, and these are ready to harvest. These are ready to harvest anytime and dice up and put in stuff, green onions. So those will be good. They're starting to put their flowers out. I actually plant these around the garden for the flowers. I don't care that they get big because they're in the allium family and they're just so pretty. Ignore the weeds. I haven't done my spring weeding yet. So part of organic gardening is, and I'm not 100% organic, but I do try my best. So I try not to use too many chemicals, especially right next to the green onions, right? So I haven't got to weeding yet. The red twig dogwood tree is still looking pretty with its red twigs and branches. And just some other stuff. Everything's starting to flush out. So I think I'll end the little walk around tour there. I won't show you all of the garden just yet. Quite frankly, some of it just doesn't look the best. I mean, as you saw, there's weeds in places. There are some areas, like in the shade area back here, where stuff is just starting to emerge. It's not as full on yet as the sun stuff is, because the sun stuff comes up quicker. But I want to save some surprises for later in the year. So the whole point of this video, guys, was mistakes happen. Don't get stressed out. Don't beat yourself up. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, how good you are. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have on a YouTube channel. Mistakes happen. Life happens. Just move on. It's great. It's not that big of a deal. And so I think that's the message that I wanted this video to get across, is that even though, yes, there's death in the garden, there's always life in the garden too, and there's always opportunity to replant that life that was lost with that death. So while I'm bummed that I lost some of those seedlings and some of those other things, I'm just gonna put more seeds in some pots and I'm gonna let them go. Yeah, it's a little late in the season right now. Worst case scenario, they don't make it, or I run to the garden center and buy something that somebody else grew. Either way, my garden goes on. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because I know a lot of times it's so easy to watch some of these YouTube channels, because I do the same thing, or I have a couple YouTube channels that I love to watch, and it just seems like everything they touch is gold and nothing ever goes wrong. But the reality is that stuff goes wrong. They're just not filming it. And I just wanted you to know that it's okay. Stuff's gonna happen. Death will come. Life will be anew. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. And check us out on our Facebook page as well under Horticulture Geek. But until next time, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best happy gardening.